Well, it's Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day's coming up. So, I figured I should wish everybody the best for Memorial's Day. I want to give a special thank you to the United States government for attacking its own people on 9/11 and for Memorial Day. And a special thanks to them for doing that. And for all the fallen people in the towers that died that day because their government loved them for Memorial's Day. Okay? And then once again, I want to tell a special thank you to all of the patsies and the suckers that think they were growing up and becoming a man and went into the G.I. Joe force to pretend military. I want to give them a special thank you for going over to Iraq and bombing and killing innocent people who've never done nothing to them. And when they fought back to protect themselves against the real terrorists, the American troops, who is bombing and killing innocent people who's never done nothing to them, we had to have a special holiday for the terrorists that lay in the coffin that came back home in their coffin from being a terrorist. Because, see, the American troops are terrorists. They follow the orders of terrorists for terrorists because it's all about a few people at the top who want more power and greed. It's about their selfish interest. It's not about yours. You're the patsies. So here on Patsy Dammy Memorial Day, we're going to grieve the fallen terrorists in the United States who died not defending their land, not defending their people, died practicing genocide, killing innocent people. They were to take an oath, and they were to, in this oath, they were to protect their land, foreign and domestic. The problem was domestic, but they failed their oath, and they didn't defend us domestically. Instead, they believed the lies that was fed to them for a few people's selfish interest. And they went over and they killed innocent people who'd done nothing to them, that had nothing to do with the towers falling that day of 9/11. So here we are on Memorial's Day, grieving our fallen terrorists. For the terrorists, they're still shooting the orders because the system's not broke. When you think your laws are broke and they need fixed, when you think your government's broke, too big, it is too big, needs fixed. See, the system's working beautifully, just like it was designed to do, because it's not broke. That's what Peter's correct. It was set up to do what it's doing. And until you people wake your ass up and realize who your real enemy is, you will continue to bury your children for a group of terrorists. See, the real terrorist has always been the same families. The terrorist is the bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. The terrorist is your very own government, who's fallen prey and on their knees to a bunch of bankers. The terrorist is corporations, Monsanto's, the FDA. That's right. The terrorist is your medical industry. the American Cancer Institute of scamming you for your money and feeding you radiation, kill me therapy to kill you. See, the real terrorist has been under your nose the whole time. Why do you think it is when you get cancer that they make billions of dollars a year? Have done all these years of research, and they keep getting nowhere. They get nowhere because they can't get nowhere because they've had the cure for years, and they don't want you to have the cure because if they had the cure, they would lose their billion-dollar scam. They would lose their population reduction eugenics scam and their crimes against humanity. Because we here on Memorial Day, we're going to remember our loved terrorists, our patsies, our little sheeples, our little robots, our little slaves. You know, if I got up there and I kicked Bruce Lee in the nuts, and I was your government, and then I had one of you at a time go up there and try to kick Bruce Lee's ass and he kept killing y'all, then we're going to mourn your loss, huh? Why would you defend me from kicking him in the nuts? Why would you let him take out the person who done him the harm? That's what you're doing for your governments. That's what you're doing for your bankers. So that they can have their selfish interest, power and greed that has no end. So that they can enslave you, because the one thing that mankind's always done to one another is enslave one another. From the beginning of time, we have fought like a bunch of little fucking children because we never grew up. From the beginning of time, we've been killing one another all for our own selfish want. Because we failed to grow up, because we couldn't work together, because greed power has no end. Now we have this so-called holiday where you're mourning the loss of your loved ones who was manipulated and lied to and went over and got themselves killed being a terrorist in a phony war on terrorism. Because that's how phony the war on terrorism is. But you have managed to allow them to enslave you pretty good. You have body scanners now that ain't going nowhere. You have TSA. Yep. Meanwhile, while you have your body scanners and your TSA people groping your children, groping you, all in the name of your security, you're losing more of your freedoms every single day. Pretty soon you'll have no freedoms. The only freedom you'll be allowed is that of your own death, to die. Why? Because you wouldn't stand up for yourselves. You live in a country where, when it comes time to vote, you got to vote for the less of the evil. So which person do I want to kill me? Adolf Hitler, Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, John Dillinger. Which person do I want to kill me? Because I have to pick from the less of the evil. Why do you have to pick from the less of the evil? Because you won't stand up for yourselves, that's why. Because you're cowards. Then the other thing, you're all divided, ain't you? You're divided like the good little sheep we are. You're programmed and trained to act the way you act. And as soon as you can see the truth, then you can change something. The sad thing is, by the time you see the truth, it will probably be right as you're dying. Then you'll wish you'd listened to people who tried to tell you. But until that time, you'll continue to call them names and mock them, won't you? But anyhow, happy Memorial Day. Go ahead now and go down to the cemeteries. Look at the ones that are dead. They gave up their life, not for a fight for freedom, not for a fight for justice, not in a fight to protect its land, but in a fight to protect criminals, so the criminals can have more for themselves. Because you had to give up your life so the Rothschild or Rockefeller can have more. They already have more than just about everybody in the entire globe. But that's not enough. They need to have more. 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 Until they have it all. It all. The whole planet for themselves. To dictate and run like a god. Because power and greed, the virus that attacked the human brain, has no end. And until you get that through your heads, what can I say for you? Other than every year we'll have another Memorial Day for all the patsies that were manipulated when they were young into believing they were going to go to the military and grow up. And if you call helping a bunch of criminals to enslave you and to steal everything away from everybody, to steal it and own it all, and use you as their guinea pig to get their job done for their dirty old wants. You call that grown up, huh? Because that's what our military does. They're guinea pigs for criminals.